This film is an unauthorized exploration into the life of Ermias Askedom, known by his stage name as Nipsey Hussle. The perspectives presented in this film are independently gathered and do not represent the official views or endorsements of Atlantic Records, All Money In LLC, his estates, or any associated parties. Shout out to the Uncut Patreon Premium members: Kamisha Williams, Miracle Joy, Ali Russian, James Jackson, Marcus Barnes, Diamond, and Cuz For What.
And the world still wants to know why. That we want to know why would somebody do that to a person that was leading the whole community. Why? We want to know why. That's all we want to know is why. We will possess a person to take a person out of our community that was so powerful. So many people depended on that person. Nobody depended on this other person. Everybody depended on this one person in our communities. And they want mercy from this guy. Where was the mercy when he was kicking Nipsey on the ground? Where was that mercy at? Where was that mercy at? You want some mercy? You want somebody to show you some love?
Ermias Joseph Askedom was born August 15, 1985 in Los Angeles, California. He grew up in the Crenshaw neighborhood, which is known for its vibrant but challenging environment. Ermias was of Eritrean and American descent, which is his father hailing from Eritrea and his mother being African American. This diverse background introduced his worldview and cultural identity.
Well, I just found out what my name means. It means God will rise. And my real name is Ermias.
Okay.
It's from East Africa. It's from Eritrea. And so I didn't really know what it meant. She Googled it, and she like, your name means God will rise.
Father DeWitt Askedom was a first-generation immigrant from Eritrea. His father would leave his homeland in the 1970s due to the conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea, eventually settling down in Los Angeles, California. DeWitt, a devout and hardworking individual, maintained a strong connection to his Eritrean roots and made significant efforts to instill the same cultural values in his children. The conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea had two main issues. The first, called the Eritrean Conflict of Independence, started in 1961. Eritrea, which has been joined by Ethiopia by the United Nations in 1951, wanted to be its own country. Eritrean fighters, mainly the Eritrean Liberation Front and later the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, fought against Ethiopia's rules. This battle lasted until 1991, when Eritrea finally won and became an independent country in 1993 after a vote supervised by the UN. The second conflict, the Eritrean-Ethiopia conflict, began in 1998 over a border dispute, especially about the town Bathme, with both countries claiming the same location. This battle involved heavily fighting and resulted in many people losing their lives. In 2000, both sides signed a peace agreement called the Algiers Agreement, but tension remained high for years. Finally, in 2018, the Ethiopian Prime Minister and the Eritreans signed a peace agreement that officially ended the battle and reopened the diplomatic relations. These conflicts caused significant hardship and affected the stability of the region. Throughout numerous of interviews, Nipsey Hussle explained the Eritrean roots and the conflicts that the Eritreans had. Now, DeWitt and Angelique divorced in 1987, but both would play an internal part of the development of the future Nipsey Hussle. While young Ermias was raised by his mother, his father remained a constant presence in his life. His family lived in the area of Hyde Park, a neighborhood in South Central Los Angeles. This area had a complex and challenging landscape during the 1990s. During the 1990s, Hyde Park and the broader South Central Los Angeles area were heavily impacted by gang activity and the drugs. The area saw a rise in the violent crimes, largely fueled by rivalries between dominantly gangs such as the Bloods and Crips. These gangs were involved in various of criminal activities, including drugs. This escalated the violence in the area. The crack epidemic further worsened the situation, devastating the community with widespread addiction and related crimes. The influx of crack led to increased police presence and harsher law enforcement measures, including resulting in mass incarcerations, which mainly affected African American men. Despite these challenges, the community's resilience and efforts from local activists laid the groundwork for future changes. Coming up, a young Armias to his friends said that he was very brilliant in school. He went on to attend the 59th Street Elementary School. He's always had a passion for music. From the article of the Players Tribute, he'd explained, "Granny House was like my first studio. I was 9 years old in my bedroom the first time I laid down a freestyle. DJ Quick, Snoop, and Eminem. Them three were big for me at that age. A light bulb went off for me, like, damn, these dudes really good at putting words together. Like a lot of Crenshaw kids, it was never supposed to be success. I ain't have no line to Dr. Dre, no rich uncles, no musicians in my family. I only had the culture. I played the Dogfather, used the same flow that Snoop used, and just write my own lyrics. I filled up notebooks with lyrics. I drew all over the covers of the notebooks because I wanted it to look like a piece of art, inside and out. My mindset was if someone picked it up, I wanted them to be like, yo, I'm about to read something interesting here." As a kid, he admired how his big brother Samuel earned money from several hustles. Samuel, or Black Sam's example, pushed Armias to find different sources of cash flow. From shining shoes, selling ice cream, and mowing lawns were among these hustles. In particular, Nipsey thrived at shining shoes. Hussle often spoke about his early entrepreneurial experiences, including shining shoes as a kid. In an interview, he shared that around 11 years old, he would shine shoes in the Crenshaw area to earn extra money.
First stop right here today, we had China Shoe Shine, and this is really one of my first stops on the road to the riches, man. I used to be back here all day, every day, man. Moms paid the rent, kept the bills paid, but other than that, we had to fend for ourselves. So I used to shine shoes, $250 a shoe. We're trying to get 100 a day, times 7 days a week. Young, like 12, 13 on this shit, feel me? This the little paint thinner, you strip your shoe first, boom, bust it down, paint it with the stripper, bust your shit down, and then you with a cool little knockout, just doing this all day, your shit be all huff, you feel me?
The owners would salute his hustler's spirit. At the age of 13 years old, he started to record music officially. While a teen, on the weekends, he would travel to a rival's neighborhood to spend only 1 hour in the studio to chase his dream and passion. Growing up in the Crenshaw neighborhood, Nipsey didn't have access to a car nor the money for frequent studio sessions. Determined to make a name for himself in the music industry, he would often take multiple buses across Los Angeles to reach recording studios where he could lay down tracks and work on his craft.
The first studio I started recording at when I was like 13. We used to catch the 108 bus all the way down Slauson to the Blue Line, to the 103rd stop in Watts, and then walk to the Watts Tower. And that go through like 15, 20 different neighborhoods in LA that is all enemies of where we come from, you know what I mean? But we used to make that mission every Saturday because that was a free studio. It was worth it because, you know, we got to get in there and do what we got to do.
At the age of 15 years old, he would drop out of the Alexander Hamilton High School. Nipsey made this decision due to his passion for music and the influence of his environment. He saw an opportunity to make a living through music and the entrepreneurial spirit he had picked up from a young age. While trying to gain his music exposure, the streets and the opportunities in the streets turned Nipsey Hussle to be a full gangbanger as a full-time operation.
High school.
Did you go?
I did go to high school for 9th and 10th grade, and I was very capable, you know what I mean? But I wasn't focused on academics. Mm-hmm. I remember, you know, I had F's and D's every semester except 1 year, and one of my English teachers was like, "Bro, you smart, like, you know what I'm saying? What you doing?" And I just did all my homework and focused for one semester and got like 5 A's, 2 B's, just because I peeped game, and he was interested in my well-being, and he was sincere. So I was like, I'm gonna meet you halfway, and I did real well, and then I stopped going to school.
After that?
And just pursue music, though. I wasn't just like hanging out outside. I was really... You was focused on something? Yeah, early.
Nipsey Hussle would eventually join the Crips, one of the biggest gangs in Los Angeles. The Rolling 60s Crips, to be exact. Now, they're commonly known as the Rolling 60s. They're a predominant street gang based in Los Angeles, California. The gang is part of the larger Crips alliances that was founded in the mid-1970s in the west side area of South Central Los Angeles.
You know what I'm saying? She knew what time it was. So if I bring her in the house, she understand that. You know what I'm saying? But she wasn't with that, smoking weed, hanging out all day. She not with that. Cause that's, you know what I'm saying? She don't respect that. So when I was at my mama's shit, a lot of shit I could do when I left, I couldn't do it for you. You know what I'm saying? So when I left, I went to live with my granny down the street on 5th Ave. Where I grew up at, this is my block, you feel me? So I was a young 85, I came home right here. My mama house is in the hood, my granny house is in the hood, you feel what I'm saying? So when I moved over there, I was around homies all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? I was still getting my little money and shit. I fell under a gang of the older homies and all that. And I started banging the hood. I put on the turf and started pressing the hood. And like, you already know everything come with that money. You from LA, everybody already know. If you ain't, everything that's in the streets, once you start gangbanging, you gonna be involved with selling dope, selling weed, whatever the case may be. If it's out there, you gonna be involved in it. So once that like jumped the throne and started pressing the 6-0 shit, it was like everything that the streets had to offer. You know what I'm saying? I signed up for it. Because I was around, was going to do the, you know what I mean, do they stuff. I always kind of like, I'm not ready to go sit down for 1 year for this.
In the early 2000s, Nipsey would be taken under wing by Cowboy, also known as Big Thundercat or S-Mac. Nipsey Hussle would take the name Lil Thundercat as his name in tribute to his older mentor, Cowboy Big Thundercat. Now, at the age of 18 years old, Nipsey would take a trip to Africa, and this trip will be a pivotal experience in his life. He traveled to Eritrea, his father's hometown, with his brother Samuel Askedome along. This trip significantly impacted his perspective and outlook on life. During his 3-month stay, he would get connected with his extended family and experience the culture and lifestyle of Eritrea. The trip exposed him to different ways of life and helped him understand his roots and heritage more deeply. It also provided him with a sense of identity and purpose, which eventually influenced his music, business ventures, and community efforts back in Los Angeles. Nipsey often spoke about how his trip broadened his horizons and inspired him to pursue his dreams while staying connected to his cultural roots. It played a crucial role in shaping his entrepreneurial spirit and community upliftment. While traveling back to Los Angeles, a young Ermias would earn his name Nipsey Hussle off of the play of Nipsey Russell, a popular comedian and actor known for his quick wit, clever lines, and appearances on television during the mid-20th century. Born in 1918, Russell became famous for his roles on shows like Match Game and The Dean Martin Show, as well as his frequent appearances on game shows and a star on various sitcoms. The story of how the rapper Nipsey Hussle got his name is rooted in a playful connection to this comedic legend. He initially was called Nipsey by a friend who jokingly compared his hustle and drive and work ethic to the comedian Nipsey Russell. The hustle part of the name was a nod from Nipsey Hussle's entrepreneurial spirit and his relentless pursuit of success, particularly in his music career and his business ventures, even back then. Before Nipsey secured his major record label deal, he and his brother Samuel Askedome, also known as Black Sam, experienced a significant and harrowing event, a police raid on their house. Now, in 2007 to 2008, just as Nipsey was gaining momentum in the music industry, law enforcement raided the home that they shared in South Los Angeles. At the time, Nipsey and his brother were heavily involved in the underground economy to further their music careers and support their family. The police believed they were involved in illegal activities and executed the raid. This resulted in the confiscation of money, equipment, and other assets that Nipsey and Sam had worked hard to get. This raid was particularly devastating, and it became a crucial time when Nipsey was on the verge of breaking into the mainstream of success. Now, the police took around $100,000 in cash, which was the money that they saved up to invest into other music and other ventures. The raid also set back efforts to establish themselves in the business world, as they had been planning to use the funds to open up a clothing store, which later became the Marathon Clothing. Despite the setback, Nipsey Hussle remained focused and hungry.
I put years into it and time into it, and it all ended with the police raiding my shit, taking my equipment, and bucking me up and me having to fight my case, my brother going to the pen. So, you know, at that point we lost everything in the house that we had got foreclosed on. Cars got taken, the jewelry got taken in the raids, the studios got taken, everything I took. The stores that we had, shops, we had a t-shirt store on Crenshaw and Slauson, no clothes and tees, that got taken. So everything crumbled, you feel me? And I was just like at one of my lowest points, you know, I'm a real nigga, I'm always pushed through it. That was just like, you know, I gotta get money, I gotta get back in the streets and do what I do. It just so happened at that time, the deal situated. Started hearing my tapes.
Shortly after the raid, he signed his first record label deal with Cinematic Music Group and Epic Records. This deal marked the beginning of his rise in the music industry, allowing him to continue his journey towards becoming an influential rapper, entrepreneur, and community leader. The experience of the raid and the obstacles only pushed him forward to succeed on his terms and to eventually give back to his community through legitimate means. According to Nipsey, he said during the police raid, they found pictures of him holding weapons along with his co-defendant Shady Blue. They had caught Shady Blue eventually and gave him a 3-year sentence. In return, Nipsey decided to hide out and go on the run until his record deal was completed. According to Nipsey, he hid out while being signed to a record label. Nipsey Hussle finally got his record deal around the age of 22 years old. Nipsey Hussle had his first commercial success after releasing the music video and the actual song Hustle in the House. The video was filmed in his hometown area, in which featured a scene where the entire crew is wearing the signature Crenshaw blue and gold crew necks. After the video went viral, according to Nipsey, his brother Black Sam took advantage of the opportunity and started to sell Crenshaw products. Those shirts would eventually start a brand, the Marathon Clothing. In 2017, the store transitioned into a smart store, offering features such as QR codes that customers could scan their smartphones to unlock exclusive content, including music, videos, and behind-the-scenes footage. The store also incorporated augmented reality AR experiences, enhancing merchandise and interactive digital overlays. By partnering with Spotify, the Marathon Clothing Store ensured a seamless integration of online and in-store sales. This combination of technology and community focus not only revolutionized the retail experience, but also embodied Nipsey's vision of economic empowerment and innovation within his Crenshaw neighborhood. The label would eventually part ways with Nipsey after a change of staffing. Nipsey explained that the employees who discovered him had moved on, and the new members wouldn't get any credit or benefits for pushing previously discovered artists by previous members. He went on to release a few mixtapes: Bullets Ain't Got No Name Volume 2, May 25th of 2009, Bullets Ain't Got No Name Volume 3, August 4th of 2009, the Marathon mixtape, December 21st of 2010, The Marathon Continues, November 1st of 2011. Now back to being independent, Nipsey would release one mixtape that would change his mixtape career and his artistry career forever. He released the mixtape October of 2013, which was entitled Crenshaw. Nipsey adapted an unconventional approach to the release of Crenshaw. He implemented a Proud to Pay campaign, offering 1,000 hard copies of the mixtapes for $100 each. This strategy was not about the money, but was about putting value to art and creating a unique connection with his fans. Fans who actually purchased the $100 CD would get a signed copy by Nipsey and other exclusive benefits like an entry to a private concert. This strategy demonstrated Nipsey's entrepreneurial mindset, highlighting his belief in independence and direct fan engagement. The Proud to Pay campaign generated $100,000 in one day, with Jay-Z notably purchasing 100 copies. The innovative release method drew significant media attention, further establishing Nipsey Hussle's reputation as a forward-thinking businessman. The campaign fostered a strong sense of community and loyalty amongst his fans, reinforcing the idea that they were supporting more than just music, they were supporting a movement. Not only did this mixtape bring revenue, but this is how Nipsey Hussle and Lauren London initially met. Their connection began when Lauren London was interested in purchasing a few copies of Nipsey Hussle's mixtape, Crenshaw. She reached out to him on social media, and their relationship developed from there. They began dating shortly after and became a well-known couple in the public eye, often seen supporting each other in their respective careers. Lauren London was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. She attended the Palisades Charter High School before becoming homeschooled to focus on her acting career. London gained significant recognition for her role as Erin Garnett, also known as Nunu, in the coming-of-age film ATL. Alongside rapper and actor T.I., this role established her as a rising star in Hollywood. Lauren London's career spans various genres and mediums, showcasing her versatility and talent as an actress. Her roles to film and television, combined with her personal story, have made her an influential figure in the entertainment world. According to Lauren London, during a GQ interview, she explained how her and Nipsey really connected. We went through mutual friends like on the phone. Because we were both from LA, we knew a lot of people in common. Look, I had a couple of homegirls hang out with him, and they would come back to me like, oh my God, you were really like Nip. It seems like you're tight. I wasn't dating anyone at the time or doing anything like that. We met because I wanted to pick up a box of clothes he offered me after I initially had bought a few copies of Crenshaw. I pulled up to his shop on Crenshaw and Slauson, and he was like, you want to hang out? So we drove around the city, and to my surprise, he knew my aunt, so we pulled up to her house to eat. Later that night, we drove down PCH and talked for hours. I would consider that our first date. Before that, we had talked on the phone for 8 hours. But this was the first time we were actually face to face. We started kicking it every day for weeks on end, and then I realized we never went to dinner or anything like that, like a proper first date. From there, it was easy. It felt so natural for us to be in each other's lives. With Nipsey Hussle and his new relationship, he did not stop working. Almost a full year later, he released his second installment of the Proud to Pay campaign, in which he released the mixtape Mailbox Money. This release, Nipsey Hussle employed a distinctive strategy for Mailbox Money. Similar to the innovative approach of Crenshaw, it was a 3-tier pricing model. The first one was free for fans to download, a $10 purchase, and then a $1,000 purchase. Now, Nipsey offered a special edition for $1,000, which included exclusive benefits, a signed copy of the mixtape, concert tickets, and a private listening session, as well as that concert. The $1,000 package aimed to connect fans and supporters directly to Nipsey Hussle, creating a unique community around his music and entrepreneurial endeavors. Mailbox Money reflects Nipsey Hussle's experience, aspirations, and outlooks on life. August 15, 2016, he released Slauson Boy No. 2, which was a mixtape. In 2017 of November, Nipsey Hussle signed with Atlantic Records. Before signing with Atlantic Records, Nipsey Hussle was well known for his independent hustle and entrepreneurial spirit. He founded his own record label, All Money In, No Money Out Records. Nipsey had previously been wary of traditional record deals, preferring to build his own brand independently. However, he saw an opportunity with Atlantic Records to expand his reach while maintaining his principles. Unlike a traditional record deal, Nipsey negotiated a partnership with Atlantic Records. The deal allowed him to retain ownership of his master recordings and provide a platform to distribute his music more widely. Nipsey saw the partnership as a strategic move to maximize the impact on the long-awaited debut album, Victory Lap. He believed that Atlantic Records could help him reach a broader audience and achieve greater commercial success without compromising his artistic integrity. About 1 month later, Nipsey would lose a friend that he met when he was younger and one of his closest business partners. Nipsey Hussle's close friend and business partner, Fats, also known by Steven Dollison, lost his life when he was unalive September 29th in 2017. The timing of Fats' passing was particularly impactful on Nipsey, as it happened shortly before after he secured the deal and before he would release that debut album, Victory Lap. Fats' passing was a significant personal loss for Nipsey and added an emotional layer to his work and journey as an artist. Months later, Nipsey Hussle would release his debut studio album, Victory Lap, on February 16th of 2018. The album received widespread acclaim from critics and fans alike. They appraised his production, lyrical content, and Nipsey Hussle's delivery. Victory Lap debuted at number 4 on the Billboard's 200 chart, selling 53,000 albums equivalent to units of the first week, with 30,000 of those copies being pure album sales. Nipsey Hussle named his album Victory Lap to symbolize the long and challenging journey in the music industry. The title represents a celebratory lap taken by an athlete after winning a race, signifying his achievement after years of hard work, perseverance, and overcoming obstacles. For Nipsey, Victory Lap was a reflection of his growth, success, and realization of his dreams, making a significant milestone in his career. After releasing his highly acclaimed debut studio album in February of 2018, he would go on a Victory Lap tour, celebrating his long-awaited breakthrough in the music industry. The tour was kicked off in June of 2018, took Nipsey across North America, performing in large cities like New York, Chicago, and his hometown of Los Angeles. The tour was to showcase his lyrics and entrepreneurial spirit, drawing large crowds and solidifying his status as one of the biggest forces in hip-hop. Friday, March 29th of 2019, in San Diego, Nipsey had his final performance in San Diego, California. Nipsey Hussle performed that last show at the Basement Club. He performed Rap Ninjas, Check me out, last time that I checked, and racks in the middle. After performing, it is unclear whether the All Money Inc. crew stayed in San Diego for the night or did they just go back, since San Diego is only a 2-hour drive from Los Angeles. Saturday, March 30th, Nipsey ran into a rival that him and his gang had beef with before. This guy turns out to be Firebug 68, one of the members of the CPFB, the Centinela Park Family Bloods, a street gang based in Inglewood, California. They are one of the largest blood gangs in California, as they have been active since the 1970s. The CPFB primarily operate around the Centinela Park area, which serves as their home base. They are known for their involvement in various criminal activities, including gang, robbery, and crimes. The rivalry between the Centinela Park Family Bloods and the Roller 60 Crips neighborhood is part of the broader conflict between Bloods and Crips gangs in Los Angeles. This issue is fueled by territorial disputes, competition over drug markets, and retaliation. Both gangs claim specific areas within Los Angeles as their territories. These territories often overlap and are adjacent, leading to frequent clashes over control and dominance. So when both Firebug and Nipsey ran into each other at the restaurant, the outcome didn't go how it usually would go when two gang members from other sides of the track met up. According to Firebug, Nipsey was with his daughter and Firebug was with his lady friend. Both lowered their guards and they started to build. So much that both of them was there to pick up their food, they actually sat down and had a quick conversation and exchanged numbers. For the people on the outskirts or the outside looking in of this gang life, the two running into each other and nothing happening was a very rare occasion. Both of them being leaders from their respective gang, the two came together to create peace, and that peace probably would have trickled down to change the narrative between those two gangs. This happened the day before Nipsey Hussle would lose his life. Later that day, Nipsey Hussle attended the Texas Tech Elite 8 basketball game in which one of his mentors, Big Bob Francis' son, was playing. Francis and Nipsey would go all the way back, even before Nipsey would even get a record deal. Bob was actually a person who urged him to read a book called Contagious. That book helped him explain why certain products and ideas became popular. Nipsey Hussle was intrigued by the book, and he took a $100 idea out of the book. It was about a $100 Philly cheesesteak, and the price of the cheesesteak attracted so many curious customers around the world, including celebrities like Denzel Washington and Oprah Winfrey. This is why Nipsey created that $100 mixtape with Crenshaw instead of the cheesecake. So without this guy actually recommending the book, it's highly doubtful that Nipsey would have released that $100 album. Now, according to Yahoo Sports, Nipsey was a surprise guest to Big Bob's son, Brand One Francis. He was going to come to the game as a surprise to Bob's son. As the biggest basketball game of his son's life tipped off, it happened Saturday afternoon in Anaheim, California. Now, while the game is going on, the father kept glancing to the empty seat beside him. Trying not to lose hope, one day earlier, Bobby Francis had surprised his son by telling him to leave Nipsey Hussle 2 tickets to the Red Raiders Elite 8 matchup versus Gonzaga. Now the rapper had already missed the opening minutes of the game and wasn't answering his phone. Bob Francis said, "Inside I was shattered. My son had bragged to all of his teammates that his favorite rapper was coming. I felt like a fraud. I felt like I was letting him down." Just when it seemed like Hussle wasn't going to show up to the Saturday's game, Bob's phone rang early in the first half. It was Hussle calling to say that he apologized for being late. He was fighting through traffic and he was on his way to the arena and he would be there by halftime. Now, according to Yahoo, they say the way Hussle yelled for Brand One when he arrived at the Honda Center, you would have thought that was his own son playing for the Final Four berth. French fries in one hand and a drink in the other hand. Hussle announced that Texas Tech was taking this to anyone hearing him as he sat courtside in the seat, only to be animated the whole entire game. When the game was over, Texas Tech players spilled onto the floor in celebration at the final buzzer. Hussle patted a teary-eyed Bob on the back and shouted, "Big Bob, we're going to the Final Four." He later caught Brand One's attention and yelled across the floor to congratulate him. Brand One looked at Nipsey like he was his idol, and he was right in front of his face. Steve Lobel said this, who was Nipsey Hussle's first manager and another friend of the Francis family. He said, "I don't know why he didn't jump over the railing to hug Nipsey." After the game, Nipsey posted videos of fireworks that was the celebration of Texas Tech winning that NCAA game. Shortly after, Nipsey Hussle exchanged text messages with Firebird, who they had just met a couple of hours ago.
Big Bob, we going to the Final Four. Yeah, yeah, mother. Yeah.
On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle began his day as usual. That morning, he spent his time with family and attended to personal matters. He then went to his Marathon store located in the Hyde Park area of Los Angeles and Slauson Avenue. Allegedly, Nipsey had planned to meet a friend who had recently been released from prison to help him get some new clothes. Throughout the day, Nipsey communicated with fans and community leaders who visited the store. Nipsey posted his last social media post from Twitter, saying having strong enemies is a blessing. This was posted March 31st, 2019 at 2:52 p.m. However, the atmosphere took a turn. At around 3:18, Nipsey Hussle was approached by Eric Holder, a local and old acquaintance. Eric Holder Jr., known as Shitty Cuz, is a man from Los Angeles, California. He grew up in the same neighborhood as Nipsey and was a member of the Rolling 60 Crips as well. Both Holder and Nipsey grew up in the Crenshaw neighborhood and were members of that same gang. This common ground meant that they had crossed paths multiple times over the years. Eric Holder had aspirations of being a rapper and tried to establish himself in the music industry. Although he never reached the level of success that Nipsey did, they were reported that the tension between the two, although the specifics of the tensions are not entirely clear, it was a bad conversation. Some reports suggest that Holder felt slighted or disrespected by Nipsey at various points of the conversation. The encounter reportedly involved Nipsey confronting Holder about rumors of him being an informant, which Holder took as an accusation of him being a snitch. There have been mentions of Holder having mental issues, including a reported history of mental illnesses. The world threw emphasis on the snitching accusation, but there might have been other personal issues or long-standing issues between Holder and Nipsey that contributed to this fatal confrontation. Following this confrontation, Holder left the scene only to return shortly after with a weapon. He fired multiple shots, striking Nipsey and two other people. Despite attempts to save him, Nipsey Hussle passed due to his injuries and was pronounced gone at 3:55 p.m. The news sent shockwaves throughout the community and the broader hip-hop world, as Nipsey was not only a talented artist, but also a dedicated advocate for economic empowerment and community development. Social media gave a lot of attention to Nipsey Hussle's last tweet. The last tweet gained significant attention because it was posted just minutes before he was unalived in front of his store. The internet ran with the narrative that it was from the higher-ups that Nipsey Hussle was having issues with. According to his new relationship found the day before with Fire, this shows that Nipsey Hussle was referring to Fire and the Centinela Park Bloods. Firebird went to his Instagram the day after Nipsey passed, and he said this. He says, "Ain't no secret who the last tweet was for. I was the enemy that you tweeted about. But we were strong enough to be first to do it. And like you said, it was going to take someone strong to stand under the ridicule of what we conceived at the table. Rest heavily, black man, young prophet. We traded Drews, bro. We exchanged dialogue with each other. CPF, she's at the door. But funny how God works. Put both of us in a vulnerable setting with the daughter and the lady present." The alleged man responsible, Eric Holder Jr., was apprehended April 2nd, 2019, 2 days after the passing of Nipsey Hussle. Following the incident outside the Marathon store, Holder fled the scene in a car driven by a woman who later turned herself in and cooperated with the authorities. Holder was captured in Bellflower, a suburb southeast of Los Angeles County, after a woman recognized him and notified police. He was reportedly seen sitting at a bus stop, and when the officers arrived, they arrested him without incident. Holder was taken and transferred to the LAPD custody, where he was held on a $7 million bond. The arrest followed a citywide manhunt, and Holder was charged with 1 count of red rum, 2 counts of attempted red run, 2 accounts of attempted red run, and 1 count of possession of a weapon by a felon. 9 days later, Nipsey was laid to rest at the Staples Center. The Staples Center in Los Angeles is a venue synonymous with high caliber events, hosting everything from NBA championships to Grammy Awards. It's a place reserved for the most significant moments in sports, music, and entertainment. On April 11, 2019, it became the site for a historic and somber event, the memorial service for Nipsey Hussle. The decision to hold Nipsey Hussle's memorial at the Staples Center was a testament to his profound impact on Los Angeles and the world. The venue, which seats over 21,000 people, was filled with fans, family, friends, and celebrities who came to honor the life and legacy of the rapper, entrepreneur, and community leader. The memorial, dubbed a celebration of life, a mix of tributes, music, and personal reflections. Nipsey's family, including his partner Lauren London, and his children were present, as many of his friends and collaborators from the music industry, Snoop Dogg, YG, and other close associates shared their heartfelt stories, while Stevie Wonder and Anthony Hamilton performed in his honor. Former President Barack Obama also sent a letter that was read during his service, acknowledging Nipsey's contributions to his community and the inspiration he provided throughout his music and activism. Approximately 3 years and 2 months after his passing, the trial for Eric Holder Jr. started. The trial was a high-profile case that drew significant attention. The trial began June 15th of 2022. Delays were due to several factors, including the COVID-19 and legal maneuvering by the defense. The opening statements, the prosecutors argued that the unaliving was premeditated from a personal dispute between Nipsey Hussle and Eric Holder. They presented evidence that Holder hit Nipsey multiple times after a brief conversation, which Nipsey allegedly accused Holder of being a snitch. Key witnesses include Kerry Lathan, who was injured during the incident, and Herman Cowboy Douglas, a close friend of Nipsey, who was with him at the time. Cowboy testified that the conversation between Nipsey and Holder was not heated, contradicting the defense's claim that it was a crime of passion. Holder's defense attorney, Aaron Jansen, argued that the incident was not premeditated, but rather an impulsive act committed in the heat of the moment. The defense claimed that Holder acted out of rage after Nipsey allegedly accused him of being an informant, a claim that deeply hurt Holder, giving the culture distrust surrounding a snitch in the gang culture. Prosecution presented surveillance footage showing Holder approaching Nipsey, leaving and returning with a weapon towards Nipsey. The footage was pivotal in establishing the premeditation. The closing arguments, after both sides presented their cases, the jury began deliberations. The prosecution emphasizes premeditated nature of the attack, while the defense said that it was a spontaneous act of crime rather than a calculated incident. They came to a verdict July 6 of 2022. The jury found Eric Holder Jr. guilty of first-degree red rum for the unaliving of Nipsey Hussle. Holder was also found guilty of 2 counts of attempted voluntary manslaughter for injuring 2 bystanders during the incident, as well as the possession of a weapon by a felon. A couple of months later, February 22nd of 2023, Eric Holder Jr. was sentenced to 60 years to life in prison.
And the world still wants to know why. That we want to know why would somebody do that to a person that was leading the whole community? Why? We want to know why. That's all we want to know is why. We will possess a person to take a person out of our community that was so powerful. So many people depended on that person. Nobody depended on this other person. Everybody depended on this one person, our communities. And they want mercy on this guy. Where was the mercy when he was kicking Nipsey on the ground? Where was that mercy at? Where was that mercy at? You want some mercy? You want somebody to show you some love?
I am very mindful of what was presented as to Mr. Holder's mental health history. I'm also mindful of devastation caused to victims and their families. So I think this sentence balances both. The principal term in this sentence will be count 3, the 245A2 on Mr. Latham. The court selects the midterm 3 years in state prison. For the there will be an additional 4 years in state prison consecutive, and then for the great bodily injury allegation that was found true, it'll be 3 years consecutive to that. So for count 3 will be a total of 10 years in state prison. As to count 1, the first degree of Mr. Askedon, the sentence will be the term prescribed by law, which is 25 years to life. In addition, there will be the 12022.53D allegation, which is consecutive. That will be an additional 25 years to life. So for count 1 alone, it will be 50 years to life. The total sentence would be 60 years to life. The court would also recommend to the Department of Corrections that the defendant be housed in a facility that would address his mental health needs.
Later, it was revealed that a judge approved $5 million in payments to Nipsey Hussle's children during probate court. Nipsey Hussle's brother and business partner Samuel Black Sam Askedom submitted a final report in 2024 stating that all of the rapper's financial affairs had been resolved. Black Sam was appointed the administrator of Nipsey Hussle's estate following his passing in 2019. Nipsey assets were around $11 million. The estate will pay his children $5 million in annual payments. Nipsey Hussle was survived by his 2 children, a daughter named Imani and a son named Cross.
New album coming this year. Victory Lap, Grammy nominated, yeah. Hustle, all that.